Birth of genetics as a science. Today, DNA tests are getting cheaper by the day and becoming a major headache for reputable fortune tellers worldwide. A couple of $100 spent on a test promises to give you insights not only into your future, but your past as well, all with scientific precision. In less than 2 centuries, genetics has gone from counting peas to cloning sheep, and now all the way to reviving the woolly mammoths. But today we'll look at its humble beginnings and its famous father, Gregor Mendel, a studious Czech monk. Born in 1822, Mendel was a teacher and a lifelong learner. The research he is most famous for, experiments in plant hybridization, written in 1865, took him 10 years to complete and involved over 30,000 Pisum sativum plants, more commonly known as the pea plant. As you can imagine, Mendel was a very dedicated man. Then again, monk life is not exactly known for being too exciting, so counting peas must have been a nice change of pace. Mendel was looking for reliable ways to predict the traits of a hybrid pea plant, which led him to conclusions that would later become the cornerstone of classical genetics. These are known as the laws of inheritance. The first one, the law of segregation, states that each inherited trait is defined by a gene pair. Parental genes are randomly separated so that new cells contain only one gene of the pair. Offspring therefore inherit one genetic allele from each parent during fertilization. The second law, the law of independent assortment, tells us that genes for different traits are sorted separately from one another, so that the inheritance of one trait is not dependent on the inheritance of the other. Lastly, the law of dominance states that an organism with alternate forms of a gene will express the form that is dominant. While Mendel's conclusions were sound and backed by ample empirical evidence, the presentation failed to spark interest within the larger scientific community of his time, for reasons that we will discuss later. The work, though, was welcomed rather warmly by Mendel's fellow monks, who burned the scientist's personal papers, presumably for raising questions which were rather uncomfortable for Christian scholars. A remarkable anecdote is that Charles Darwin and the proponents of his famous theory of evolution had failed to see relevance in Mendel's work, and it wasn't until late 1940s that the connection was made. Thus, the important discovery went unnoticed until 1900, when it was reproduced by a different group of scientists, and much like a joke repeated louder by a petty classmate, the idea instantly grabbed everybody's attention. The foundations of modern genetics were laid, and more important discoveries were to follow. In the next video, we will dive deeper into Mendel's work and the principles of classical genetics. We hope you liked this video. Don't forget to press subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and stay geekly.